you imagine how people on the right would try to cover the 1980 assassination attempt of Ronald Reagan by John Hinckley Jr.? Because I can. If we apply exactly what they're doing right now to that story, it would go like this. Within minutes after it's happening, people would start to spread that this was clearly done by a hateful leftist nut job who was probably more than likely 100% a gay trans immigrant. And then when they would see that it was a white person, they would say, well, they weren't an immigrant, but clearly all the other part is true. And then when they would learn about his family background, that they were a very rich oil family that lived in Texas, they would say, well, yeah, but look, he went to a public university that indoctrinated him with leftist ideals. So clearly that's the problem. And then they would learn that this family donated to George H.W. Bush's campaign for president, and weren't any on the left at all. They would say, well, yeah, well, they moved him to L.A., which clearly indoctrinated him in some leftist ideology when he went there to pursue music. They wouldn't back down from that. And when they learned that he was stalking Jodie Foster by moving around and telling his parents that he was going to Connecticut to go to Yale to study writing, they would say, well, that doesn't matter. What matters is the fact that Jodie Foster didn't give him any attention. And she should have given him attention, because none of this would have ever happened if she had just, given him attention. He wouldn't be trying to get her attention by trying to assassinate the president. And since she's a woman, all women should be held responsible for his actions, and actors too, and they should all be eliminated off the face of the earth because of that. They would do all they can to obfuscate the real details and the real facts, because they keep not aligning with the story that they want to tell, which is just that they want to keep blaming things that they hate, rather than focus on the fact that this was a disturbed individual who was stalking people like Jimmy Carter, got so close to him in Dayton, Ohio, that probably could have taken him out, had weapons confiscated at the Nashville airport and given a $50 fine and set free. He then went to a pawn shop in Texas and bought all those weapons again to then attempt to get Jodie Foster's attention by, assassinating Ronald Reagan. Not focusing on how easy it was for him to do that, focusing on the fact that he was mentally unstable, had been shown many times to be very mentally unstable, and his parents did nothing about it, and society did nothing about it, and we did nothing about it to try to mitigate and prevent him from getting a hold of firearms. No, we wouldn't focus on that. We would focus on, instead, the people that they don't like to blame for the actions of one individual, even when that individual starts to not align with all those stories in any way, shape, or form. Because that's exactly what they're doing right now.